Good morning. It's 5:46 a.m. on Friday, December 10th. This morning we're going to walk through how to make drawings from the components that you've made yesterday. I've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 components. And so I'll probably need 6 drawings because my 2 legs, or whatever I called them, are the same. They're just a mirror image of each other. It's the same part. So we're going to go ahead and make a drawing of the simplest part, and then maybe make a drawing of an intermediate part. Here's my whole assembly. It's all put together. They've all been changed to components and labeled and colored. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to go ahead and choose the cylinder peg because it is the simplest, and right-click on it in the browser here. This left part is called the browser. So right-click on it and choose Create Drawing. All this stuff comes in pretty normal. The thing I want to change is the sheet size. I want to set it up for a normal 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I'm just going to switch to an A size sheet. And I'm going to choose the second one so that it has a, what do they call that? A portrait, no, not a portrait, a landscape setup. When you click that, it takes you to a different mode. You see you've got different tools up across your toolbar. And right now my circle peg is floating around in the background, which is great. This pop-up window pops open, and there's a couple things. It's showing me that it's going to do half scale, so the height of that cylinder, as we can see it floating around there, is probably 1.5 inches on the piece of paper. The orientation's fine. It's going to show me hidden edges. I'm going to turn off the hidden edges and just do visible edges, and everything looks great there. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to click on my paper down here, and this is important. I want my front view to go right here. So when you put in your front view, this is where it goes. So I click that and I just say OK. And now I've got what looks like a rectangle. This is the profile, the orthographic profile of that cylinder. To get my other views, I'm going to click Projected View. I'm going to click this, Good Front View, and come straight up and click. And you'll see it kind of sticks there. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to choose an isometric view. And I really don't need a right side view, so I'm just going to stop right there. Now looking at this, looks a little small. So I'm going to show you a couple things. Number one, if I drag this around, these two guys are aligned together. They can't be separated. I can move this one up and down. I can move them both side to side. And this one is independent. So just know that your orthographic views, your straight-on views are going to be aligned, and your isometric views should be independent. If all of your views are independent, that just means that you keep going up to place a view or base view and putting all your different views in separately, and that's not what we want. We want to put in a good front view and then project your other views off of it. But I'm thinking this is a little small, so I'm going to double-click on this and just change the scale a little bit. So right now it's at 0.5 or 1/2. I'm going to change it to like 0.7. Just blow it up a little bit. Hit enter. They've all kind of blown up a little bit. And this one is my special view. So I'm going to double click on this one and really kind of dial it up. I'm going to make it full size. And I'm going to color it in by clicking this little blue cube here. So now I've got some color on my page, and it looks a little bit better. Here's another pro tip for you. You can go back to base view, and let's see if we can do this right the first time. Choose a isometric. I'll choose this one, and no, not that one. I'm going to choose, how about the northeast isometric? That's a good one. And see how small and cute it is? I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to make sure that it's colored in. And then if I was to put this in a report or something, it shows the whole assembly in this little window in my title block. So that's a pro tip for you. next thing we're going to do is label these views, right? And we're going to change some stuff here. So how about we start by labeling the views. I'm going to click text, and I'm just going to drag open a text box here and click and turn on my caps lock and typing in the words isometric view. And that's that. So now I've got a little label here. It's called isometric view. I can move it independently, get it kind of lined up. And it's good to be able to name your views. Okay. For this one, this is as if I was floating in a little hot air balloon, looking straight down at my cylinder. This is my top view. Okay. I'll pull this over. You can hit close and that gets you out of there. Move it to where I think it should be, right about there. And last but not least, you saw the name when you placed it. And this one is called the front view. Okay, so let's click on that, move it over. And as I was kind of hinting before, we can describe this whole cylinder in 2 dimensions. We've got a height dimension and a diameter. So this is the simplest one. It doesn't require a whole lot of thinking. Maybe the thinking comes right now where you say, well, which view is best to put the height in? Would it be this view or this view? And just for our purposes, we are not going to dimension isometric views. They're just for looks. All right, so up in the top middle, you have the dimension. The hotkey is still D, but I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to click this line here and just drag out the dimension. You'll see that it's 3. So that quickly would let somebody looking at it know how tall this thing is. Turn dimension back on, click this out. You want to try to have a 45-degree-ish angle. It's got a diameter of 1. And OK. That's about it for the first drawing. You're going to do a drawing of each of your components. So they should all be set up this way. The project is called The Child's Toy, the title. I'm going to change the title. Don't do that. I'm going to change the title from Child's Toy to, what are we going to call this? Cylinder Peg. Okay. Like that I didn't capitalize Child's Toy, so I might rename my project. But you can go in here. It's got a place for someone to sign it if they approve your design or if they checked it. It tells you the sheet size. It tells you who made it right here and when they made it. So those are all the things that kind of get auto-entered in your drawing file. So as you make these things, you want to screenshot them and put them in your portfolio. Just kind of build up your portfolio with these things. So this is the easiest one. We're going to do another video. The next video is going to have a slightly more difficult one that requires more than 2 dimensions. But the basics are here. Put in your front view. Project your other views. Make your isometric look real nice. Put a little pictorial down in your title block. Label all your views and dimension your views.